In May 2026, the government in West Bengal changed after 15 years. Immediately, a prominent story took over the news. Politicians and panel experts claimed that democracy was subverted. They pointed to the deletion of 91 lakh voters from state's electoral roll. They argued that the election commission was compromised and these deletions were targeted attack to suppress voters. That is the popular story. But there is another story. It is about a state with porous international border, ongoing problem with undocumented migration, and a massive effort to clean up the compromised voter list. Today, we are going to take a look at the opposition's strongest argument against this cleanup and test them against actual data. I don't have any secret sources. I'm just a guy with laptop and a good internet connection. Everything I'm about to show you, the court orders, the data, the speeches, is completely public record. I just did the work of putting these together. And to put these pieces together, you have to start at the very foundation. To understand what happened, we have to look at the clash between two democratic values. One, protecting the citizens' right to vote. Second, protecting the integrity of the voter list. In West Bengal, protecting both at the same time became impossible. Here is why. West Bengal shares a massive, partially unfenced border with Bangladesh. Over the years, undocumented migrants have crossed the border. Eventually, many may have obtained fake ration cards and voter IDs. This kind of creates a political loop. Illegal immigrants want politicians who keep the border open to stay in power. And those politicians want these migrants on the voter rolls to win elections easily. It kind of creates a vicious, self-sustaining cycle. Normally, Election Commission in Delhi relies on state governments, local state officials to verify voter lists and break this kind of cycle. But look at the political climate in West Bengal they were walking into if they have to clean up the voter list. Look at Sandeshkhali, look at RG Kar hospital case. In both of these massive state crises, the High Court and the Supreme Court intervened. They explicitly stripped the investigation away from West Bengal police and handed them over to Central Bureau of Investigation. If the highest courts in the country don't trust the local administration even to investigate a crime honestly, the Election Commission cannot trust them to verify highly sensitive border state voter list. That is why the Election Commission had to bypass the local machinery entirely. Because the local system was compromised, Delhi had no choice but to step in directly and deploy central observers to do the job. Now, let's take the opposition's strongest case against EC and SIR. There are 4 major accusations. Let's run each of them through a simple if-then test case. Test number 1, religious targeting. The opposition claims that the cleanup algorithm was a weapon designed to target Muslim voters. If the software had built-in bias against Muslims, then it should produce exact same results in other states with the same demographics, or at least similar ones. Look at Kerala. Kerala is 26.5% Muslim, very similar to West Bengal's 27%. They use the same software with the logical discrepancy setting on as well. But Kerala's deletion rate was 3.2%, and there was no mass panic there. Next is Tamil Nadu. Only 6% Muslim population, very different demographically, but their deletion rate was roughly 11%, almost identical to West Bengal's. So, 2 clean data points. Kerala, the same Muslim share, entirely different deletion rate. Tamil Nadu, entirely different Muslim share, same deletion rate as West Bengal. If this was a religious purge, then it wouldn't have accidentally deleted thousands of Hindu Matua refugees, a core BJP vote bank, along with 65 local election duty officers. The software did not target religion. Deletions clustered in Muslim-dense areas in West Bengal simply because those are the border districts where document forgery is highest. Test number 2, mass suppression. The opposition claims that 91 lakh deletions is the largest mass disenfranchisement in Indian history. Look at what media left out though. If 91 lakh deletions were a massive illegal purge, then more than a third would not be routine cleanup. Look at the data. 31 lakhs of the 91 lakh names were deleted without a single objection. These were dead voters, people who moved away, or have multiple entries in the list. Each state cleans these exact entries up. For comparison, Tamil Nadu went through exact same schedule and deleted 70 lakh names. Nobody called it voter suppression there. Nobody even heard about Tamil Nadu's SIR. The actual debate is only over 60 lakh objections out of the 91 lakhs. If this logical discrepancy rule was a malicious trick invented to target West Bengal, then the Election Commission wouldn't have deployed it in 12 other states at the same time. The software was upgraded after Bihar cleanup to flag biological errors like a parent and child with a minor age gap or a families claiming over 6 children or more. Tamil Nadu actually flagged 1.6 crore voters under this rule, nearly 3 times more than West Bengal. In Tamil Nadu, over a crore of these flags were easily resolved and the voters stayed on the rolls. The software is designed to flag broadly and the verification fixes most of the votes. If the system was designed to lock people out permanently, then Supreme Court wouldn't have set up 19 special tribunals under retired High Court judges to protect them. The court gave the tribunals a direct order, default inclusion. If the error is not ironclad, keep the voter. By March 31st, 2026, the tribunals were clearing 2 lakh cases a day, disposing over 47 lakh objections. By election day, only a tiny fraction was left unheard, not the 35 lakh the opposition claims in its petition. So, what explains the massive panic in Bengal then? Look at the proportions. Tamil Nadu flagged 1.6 crore voters under logical discrepancy, 3 times of West Bengal's flag pool of 60 lakhs. You would expect Tamil Nadu's objections to be 3 times of West Bengal or in the ballpark figure, right? They weren't. Tamil Nadu received 4.38 lakh formal objections, less than 3% of the flagged voters filed. West Bengal received 60 lakh, matching its flag count exactly. Every single flagged voter pushed back. Same rule, same window. One state used the process, the other one weaponized it. If this was just organic public panic, then those 2 states would look similar. They don't. Millions of poor, isolated, daily wage earners do not spontaneously navigate multiple layers of complex appellate law on their own. Generating 60 lakh formal objections and keeping that massive caseload alive for months does not point to a mass suppression. It points to highly organized, heavily mobilized political machine fighting desperately to hold on to its voting base. Test 3. Institutional capture. The opposition claims that Election Commission was used as a political weapon by BJP to erase rival voters. But if you look at how the cleanup actually worked, that theory falls apart. First, look at who got hit. If an algorithm is rigged to help one party, it is programmed to protect that party's friends. You naturally assume so. It wouldn't touch them, but it did. Take a look at Matua community, a core BJP vote bank in West Bengal. The cleanup algorithm flagged and deleted thousands of them. Why? Because the system did not look at political parties. It only looked at the discrepancies and the paperwork. So the logical question would be, if the system was blind, why did it hurt TMC so much more? The answer is geography, not conspiracy. Border districts have a long documented document integrity problem. You will see the evidence in a minute. When you run an objective cleanup focused on document discrepancies, it is going to flag more people there in that region. It's just mechanics. The TMC's voter bank is heaviest in these same border districts. The cleanup did not target the TMC, it followed the documents. They too overlap by geography. Critics also point out that judges restored a lot of these deleted voters and call that a proof of EC's bias. But that's how exactly checks and balances work in real time. Think of it as a safety net. The Election Commission used software to flag every suspect document. Strict integrity standard, obviously, that is their mandate. But the Supreme Court then told the appellate judges to apply a different rule entirely. They were instructed to default to inclusion, restore the voter unless the case for deletion is uncontested and unambiguous. The high restoration rate itself isn't biased. It's two bodies with two separate mandates and two standards of burden of proof. That is by design. Now, the Supreme Court hasn't delivered its final verdict yet, so this is an analytical opinion. But look at the strategic choice they have made. If the highest court in the country truly saw this cleanup as a massive unconstitutional fraud, then they would have issued an interim stay and stopped it in January when it was easy to. They did not. They chose to let the election run with SIR in force. Think about the hurdle they have just created. Striking down a voter cleanup before election is one thing, but invalidating a completed state election and dissolving newly formed government after the fact, that's a nuclear option. I think judiciary rarely touches such options. In my view, by choosing not to halt the vote, the court signaled that they did not see the kind of immediate, obvious malice that justifies pausing a democracy. Test 4. Political timing. Finally, the opposition argues that cleaning of the rolls right before an election proves bad intentions. But step back. SIR isn't a new invention. The Election Commission has been running intensive revisions of voter rolls for decades. The last big one was in Bihar in 2003. This isn't a political invention. It's constitutional exercise the EC pulls out whenever the rolls need a deep cleanup. What's actually new this time though is the software, the logical discrepancy flagging, biological anomaly detection, automated cross-verification. The 2 decades of technology applied to a process that existed for 70 years. Same exercise, but sharper tools. And if fixing the voter list is just a manufactured political trick, then the opposition has massive contradiction to explain. Back in 2024, Rahul Gandhi held an entire press conference with slides to prove that fictitious voters were actively swinging elections in Bangalore. If the problem of fake voters is real, which the opposition own leadership admits it is, then somebody eventually has to fix it. Only the government in power has the authority to act, and whenever they choose to do it, they will be accused of playing politics. The timing is a structural reality. It's not a proof for conspiracy. While the legal arguments happen in court, the reality on the ground tells its own story. For 7 years, the TMC-led government in West Bengal resisted giving land to central agencies to build a border fence. 3 days after new government took over, they authorized fencing in the very first cabinet meeting. But the fence delay was just one item in a longer list. The TMC government repeatedly and publicly refused to implement National Register of Citizens or update the National Population Register in West Bengal. The TMC government regularized 119 refugee colonies and declared their residents Indian. In July 2024, weeks before Sheikh Hasina was ousted in Dhaka, the TMC government was publicly offering shelter to helpless people fleeing Bangladesh. 4 actions, 1 direction. The TMC's position on the border is unmistakable. Keep it porous and open. When the voter cleanup began, thousands of people in border districts did not stay to verify their identities. They packed up and crossed back to Bangladesh. People do not self-deport if they have legitimate documents to prove their citizenship. But those who stayed, the Election Commission found massive evidence of fraud, including thousands of fake birth certificates and individuals holding multiple fake IDs. But the most telling evidence did not come from Indian politicians. It came from across the border, from 3 specific voices in Bangladesh. The first was Akhtar Hossain, a member of parliament from National Citizens Party. On May 1st, 2026, 3 days before the West Bengal result was even declared, he stood up on the floor of Bangladesh parliament. He explicitly warned that a BJP victory would lead to mass deportation of a sea of migrants back into Bangladesh. The second was Salahuddin Ahmed, the Home Minister of Bangladesh. The moment result came out, he officially ordered his border guards to remain on heightened alert. The third was Muhammad Nurul Huda, a leader of Jamaat-e-Islami. In a public video address after the result, he urged defeated state government not to resign. His exact words, "Do not resign, declare a war against Delhi." He went further. He urged the state to declare itself an independent nation. Connect the dots. If this border issue was just manufactured political talking point, then a foreign parliament would not be debating our election 3 days before votes were counted. A foreign minister would not put his military forces on alert the day after. And a foreign Islamist leader would not be calling for cessation on the other side of the wire. The security threat was real. The loophole was massive. We covered a lot of points. Now, how does it all come together? Did the Election Commission make mistakes? Yes. The process was rushed. The methods were sometimes blunt. And legitimate citizens were probably wrongly caught in the net. These citizens absolutely deserve to have their votes restored through courts and processes. Procedural mistakes must be fixed. But the data shows the core of this cleanup was necessary. The system worked as it was designed to. The Election Commission used its legal power to find fake documents. The courts used their power to protect citizens. So, when you strip away the politics, the numbers and the geography point to one clear conclusion. This was a necessary step to secure the voter rolls in a state with a leaking border. Protecting a citizen vote also means ensuring it's not cancelled out by a fake one. There is no middle ground there. Now, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. I want to put a hypothetical to you, and I'm asking you to sit with it for a minute. Suppose a state government has been taking advantage of a border state to subvert elections. Suppose they are letting illegal immigrants in, putting them on voter rolls in the place of dead, migrated citizens. And suppose the system as it stands, where the courts are cautious, documents are easily forged, and the procedures are designed to default to inclusion, protect the voter, which gives the abuser a structural advantage. If the central government addressed such kind of situation by pressing every inch of legitimate legal authority it has, would you condemn that center? Or would you first ask whether the system has been taken to its absolute brink and needed to be pressed before it did irreparable damage? That's the million-dollar question. And I want to leave it with you to contemplate. So, if you have stayed with me this far, I'm sure we have a lot to discuss in the future. So, please hit that like and subscribe. It helps me to reach more people with my message. So, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, dig deeper.